Hey, what's up guys, John here. This could be a red alert. We could be walking into a 2020 type scenario.
The situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern.
Now look at this, just over the last 3 hours. 11 hours ago, opinion, is India really at risk of an outbreak, right? Then 3 hours ago, Indian airports, borders on alert, right? So you have India, then you have China. They're boosting port surveillance. Then you have Hong Kongers traveling to mainland China will have to be screened. Then you have Pakistan to start screening all travelers, right? All travelers. Then you have Europe. China braced for new strain, right? This is 10 hours ago. You start to look at this, Kenya to receive 2 million of these amid the public health concerns. So the chain of events that we're walking into, I believe could be very, very severe. Now, I don't know how this whole scenario is going to go, but the chain of events that we could be walking into is what we all need to look at. Because if we start seeing restrictions like what we saw in 2020, just use your imagination what that would do just to the cost of living. If China started issuing, delays on shipping and distribution, which could be happening because they say right here, vehicles, containers, and cargo and other items from countries and regions with reported cases will be sanitized if they are contaminated or potentially contaminated. So it's going to take them a little bit more time on items that are coming into the country. But if they say that, hey, we have a case here or more here, you start to think about what this would mean. They would do the same thing on items that they are exporting from their country. And we could likely see shipping rates skyrocket. We could see an already struggling consumer walking into financial hell. I mean, I don't know what the health consequences will be if this is a scenario that ends up growing to be a nightmare, or if this is a situation where in a couple days it's completely forgotten. I don't know. But we start looking at what's happening with some of these companies that are, their stocks up, 250% the last couple days, that are providing a solution to this problem. You start looking at this, you can see that a lot of people, a lot of corporations, and a lot of very powerful countries are all changing their direction due to the information that was just released on Thursday. That seems to be growing by the day. The severity of the speed of this transmission, this movement, is something we all need to really look at. And, in this channel, I talk about personal finance, real estate, business, and money. So that's all I'm looking at from this perspective. Look at this scenario. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share the content, educate more people about what's going on in our economy. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, what I believe is going to be the greatest rug pull in American history in our economy, we'd love to help you. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to greatcreditfast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow and check our reviews on Trustpilot. Look at this. So this was announced on the 14th, right? 5 days ago. 5 days ago, this was announced. And since then, every day has gotten, more momentum and more speed on that story. So National Geographic talking about this. AP News. Now that there's a global health emergency, will it trigger another one? You start to think long and hard about what happened in 2020. You had landlords with eviction moratoriums, tenants that were living in Los Angeles for 3 years with no rent. Right? You have a scenario where a lot of mom and pop landlords were in really big trouble during that period. A lot of small businesses were really struggling. If this did happen, you have to ask yourself, how many landlords could hold on? How many mom and pop businesses could hold on? How many consumers would be able to hold on, right? I mean, right now we already have 29% of Americans in the top 100 metros in the country behind on at least one bill. I think we'd see consumers fall off a cliff financially. I mean, right now, most consumers view going through a McDonald's drive-thru as a luxury. The CEO of McDonald's, they said that they're not targeting consumers that are making less than $45,000 a year. Like top executives and CEOs said that, right? So when you start looking at this, you have to ask yourself, what would likely happen? Now, remember what Kamala said, that she'd like to bring in price controls to keep prices low. Think about it. If they bring forward what's happening in China right now with, further, sanitizing products and shipping, freight, they started doing that and it started issuing delays and prices went up and the brands, these corporations had to absorb higher costs and they can't push those costs onto consumers we likely see shortages, right? Because who and what brand and corporation would want to sell a product at a loss? None, right? They wouldn't. So we'd likely see a black market grow. I mean, at least historically, that's what happened. So it'll be interesting to follow the story and see how this grows. So it says, could this new threat cause significant harm in America? You have like literally every outlet is talking about this. Every outlet. Could the new threat cause significant harm? Now, this company, their stock soars 43%. It looks like a meme stock, right? It looks like a meme stock on Friday, literally not even 2 weeks ago. It was $1.87. Now it's $7.75 or $8.64, right? $8.64 here. So here, campaigners issue urgent call for this rollout in the UK amid this this variant, right? Campaigners have called for an urgent rollout of this in the UK and abroad amid a new dangerous. So it looks like we are potentially moving here. It says China implements strict protocols amid rising global cases. Chinese authorities have intensified efforts to prevent the import of this as global cases continue to rise, effective from August 15th for 6 months. So this is past, think about that, past the holidays shopping, holiday spending. They're going to have these restrictions, until, February, basically. Arrivals from China and other countries and regions with confirmed infections must declare their conditions to customs if they've been exposed or exhibit symptoms, right, such as fever, headache, back pain, muscle pain, swollen lymph nodes, rashes. For such individuals, custom officers will implement medical measures and conduct sampling and testing. Vehicles, containers, cargo, and other items from countries and regions with reported will all be sanitized if they are contaminated or potentially, right? So you look at this, it says local branches with strengthened collaboration and information sharing with customs and other relevant authorities to promptly detect and handle this. So the fact that they're looking 6 months out as of now, it leads me to believe that this could be a big problem. You look at just like the past hour, just to show you, looking at the past hour, and then you look at just how many pages on just the past hour. Philippines reports first one since they declared it 10 minutes ago. You have Philippines, India, Pakistan, and China inside of the last couple days, right? And they're already saying it in the UK as well, and they're already saying it's in wastewater inside of America. Now, they're saying it's a different one in the wastewater in America, but, you start to look at the chain of events. It's time to start taking this seriously, and that seriously. 28 minutes ago, it spreads to Africa, 100 cases, right? So you look at that, 8 minutes ago. It already had 5 pages inside of the last hour. And they're going to receive their first ones next week to address this new global emergency. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I want to be very, very, very clear. I don't know if this is going to be some major earth-shaking event or it's not. So time will tell to see how that unfolds. But what I do know is that when you look at where consumers are right now, they are tapped out financially. And if they do walk into a crisis like this, how many are going to be able to withstand the pressure? Really, how many are going to be able to keep making their car payments, their rent payments, their credit card bills, right? You start looking at the job market right now. The job market's very, very shaky. A lot is changing inside of this economy and has been over the last 6 to 12 months. We walk into this scenario, I can promise you, we're going to start seeing a lot of problems throughout this economy. So, right now I'm planning a trip, at least I was, in September, mid-September. We were going to be going to Paris, to Italy, to Thailand, and to Malaysia. And that trip on Friday, I was talking to a team member, and I said, odds of this probably being canceled because of this situation, maybe 10%. Talking to a team member today, odds now are probably 20%. That's just a trip. Who cares? But you start looking at how this is moving up, you'll start to see that the trip is irrelevant. But if people can't move from country to country, how can products, right? How can toilet paper and water and other things that people buy and household goods, tires, car parts, how can all that move, right? I don't know. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think we're walking into a black swan event, like a black swan event that could really just shake the world flip the world upside down, or do you think this will be a scenario that in the next couple days or week it will be completely forgotten? Let's have a conversation about this below. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, what I believe is going to be a tighter lending environment and a more challenging world. In 2020 and 2021, credit scores, they didn't really matter. You could have like a 500 credit score, and you'd still go get a car, still go buy a house, you could still do a lot of things. Now, credit scores are more important than ever because banks and lenders are, they're looking at the writing on the wall. The economy's changing, and they need to be really careful on whom they lend money to. So if you have any issues at all in your credit report, it's best to square it away now. We'd love to give you a free consultation at greatcreditfast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, click the link in the description. And check our reviews on Trustpilot. Catch you next video.